Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys follow me on my other social media platforms, you would have seen that I have decided to do a detailed eye series. Now with this specific video, I have tried to film this like at least 2 or 3 times at this point, and to film it for short form content has just been exceedingly difficult because it's hard to fit all of the information I am trying to share with you guys into like 5 minutes, or better yet, 90 seconds. It's a lot. So I decided to come back here to my home where I started content creation and just get into detail. Listen, you're not going to learn how to do the basics of eyeshadow in 90 seconds. That is just unrealistic. So I decided to come on here and break everything down for you guys, from the eyeshadows that you can use to the brushes, even just show you guys a 2 eyeshadow technique. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of eyeshadow. As you guys know, I don't really go in with concealer on my eyelid. You can see my eyelids are bare, and that's because I have a lot of creases on my actual lid. So I try as much as possible to put as little product on my lids as possible, because this is going to prevent your eyeshadow from creasing throughout the day. And if a lot of you have hooded lids like I do, you're gonna know the struggle. Now, one thing I really struggle to articulate, especially in short form content, is the types of brushes that you need. You know, short form content is very quick, fast paced, and I really want to be able to convey, you know, certain messages, certain options that you have when it comes to eyeshadow brushes. Now, one of my favorite, I would say, okay, this is not necessarily an affordable brush set, right? This is like, I think 750 Rand if I'm not mistaken. But this is from Switch Beauty, and this is their speed sticks. These are some of the best quality brushes you will invest in if you're looking for something to invest in without paying a crap ton of money, right? If you want something a little bit more professional, then you would go for the TRESemme Cake Face brush set. They are quite luxurious, and you can tell they have like a sense of luxury to them. So I'm going to show you guys the types of brushes that I would use when it comes to good quality brush sets. If your brush set does not have these brushes, you know it is probably not the best quality. Listen, I've bought brush sets before and they did not have blending brushes like what you find in these sets. So let me show you what these brushes would look like, and I'm basically narrowing it down to my top 2 brushes that I feel you would need, and I'm going to show you guys how to create a 2 shadow makeup look. So for those of you who are still struggling, I'm going to show you how to just do 2 eyeshadows. This is perfect for if you are rushing to get to work, you don't have a lot of time in your day. I think this is going to be quite helpful. So let's get into it. So when it comes to the Switch Beauty Speed Sticks, the brushes you will need is the crease blender and the lid packer. Okay, so this is the crease blender and this is the lid packer. You can see that the lid packer is quite flat and the crease blender is quite round. Do you see that? You can see it's used, because I do use it regularly to create eyeshadow looks, but it literally is just the 2 brushes you would need for eyeshadow application. I would say to an extent, yes, it should be a non-negotiable for these types of shapes of brushes, but do you have to buy the Switch Beauty set to get it? No. Let me show you one that you can find at TRESemme. This right here is the Color 311 blending brush. This retails for about, back when I bought it, it was about 40 Rand. You can expect to pay about 70 Rand now. Inflation, we love those things. But this brush, under 100 Rand, works just as good as any of the other blending brushes. The shape may be just a little different, but you'll still get a good application with this brush. So this right here is the TRESemme Eye Blender brush. You can see it is quite big in comparison to the Switch Beauty and the Color brush. This is the Sigma tapered blending brush. Very similar. The Sigma is a bit longer. So Sigma is now available at ARC, which we absolutely love. So this would be your options for a blending brush if you like something big and fluffy these are also really good options. They work really, really well, but the affordable ones work well too, so that's great. And then there's flat packer brushes. There is multiple brushes from various different brands, Real Techniques. Everybody has this kind of brush. It is flat and it just packs on eyeshadow incredibly well. So these work absolutely insane. These ones are from the Morphe brand. This one is the M124 and this one is from the Jaclyn Hill collection, the JH 48 brush. So, you know, any flat brush will literally do its job. Over the years, you guys know I have been doing makeup for a very long time. So over the years, I've really invested in my brushes where I know if I wash these and keep them really well, that they are going to last me a next decade or so. So if you want to invest, you can, but you don't have to, okay? I also want to show you some Mr. Price Scarlet Hill brushes. So this would do the job for blending, even though it's not necessarily round. This also would do the job. And then there's so many other variations of sizes of brushes that you could use to pack on the eyeshadow. Like this one would be great for packing on. This one I find is a little bit too stiff, but I think you can make it work regardless. So those are all your options when it comes to brushes. Again, if I had to do this on short form, you would not see all of those options of brushes. But let's get into the eyeshadow. I am just going to make your lives as easy as possible, and we're just going to focus on a 2 eyeshadow duo palette. Now, I think it's very important for me to show you guys the 2 eyeshadow technique because there are many times where I just do 2 eyeshadows on my lid. So this is what the eyeshadows look like. We have a deep shade and we have a highlight shade. Now I know typically we like to have a transition shade, but I'm going to show you guys just the 2 eyeshadows and should you want to bring in a transition shade. So let's get started with priming the lids. Now my eyelids are very oily, and so what I do is I just take whatever concealer I've blended under the eyes, just gonna use whatever's left on my sponge and add that to my lid. You can see there is something that's getting deposited onto the lid, but the good thing is that it's not too much of product where my eyeshadow is going to crease throughout the day. So I like to work with wet product or semi-wet product because I feel like it just grips on, your eyeshadow just grips on to the eye much better. Now I'm going to use the Switch Beauty crease blender brush today just to show you guys a smaller kind of blending brush, and also I feel like a bigger brush is just going to hide most of my lid. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off by picking up some eyeshadow on my blending brush. Okay, Aru wants to say hi. Say hi, Mom. Oh, say hi. Oh, say hi. Oh, she licked me in my mouth. It's okay, she's my baby. I gave birth to her. Okay, so we're gonna start off. Can you let me do this, my darling? Okay, so we're gonna start off by packing the eyeshadow on the outer corner of the eye. And at this point, I'm just going to use small circular motions to just get that product on, right? Small circular motions, and once majority of this product has left the brush, then I'm gonna go into my crease. Now, with the thing with good quality eyeshadows, and not to say that we are very lacking in good quality eyeshadows, there's a tons of good quality at this current juncture. Especially with Playgirl Beauty, these eyeshadows are so pigmented. They are absolutely incredible. So please do not sleep on them because the quality is chef's kiss, okay? So as you guys can see, because this eyeshadow is quite decent quality, this is the Maybelline Color Rivals in the shade Spicy X Suave, okay? Now, I'm just, whatever product is left on the brush, I'm taking that into the crease. Now I always tell like most of my clients who I teach one-on-one, practice the motion, keep practicing. I know you guys are probably going to get fed up of me saying keep practicing, you're going to get it. But the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it, okay? So while we're here, I'm going to take also whatever's left on the brush and just dust it on the lower lash line. You can see, even though it looks like there's nothing on this brush, there is still product, and we're depositing enough so that it's light, you know, as a transition shade. Okay, I'm going to pick up some more, and I'm going to go back in to that outer corner of the eye and just deepen it up. Just going halfway into the lid this time. Like, you could have left it as is the first time around, because that's perfect for an everyday look. But I'm showing you how you can build it up even if you just have 2 shadows. And then again, taking that on the lower lash. And doing one last blend so that everything is blending and there are just no harsh lines. Okay, and that is your eyeshadow. Next, we're going to go in with our flat eyeshadow brush. I am just going to swipe this in my pan, and then I'm going to start packing this. This is such a beautiful color combo, and also this shimmer shade is actually quite glittery as well. So if you guys like that glitz and glam, you're going to love this. Then you're going to go back in with your blender brush and just blend. Essentially, you want your shimmer shade to be on like 2/3 of your eyelid. You can change this up based on your eye shape or what your preference is, but I actually prefer to keep the shimmer on 2/3 of the lid so you can actually see the depth of the eyeshadow and you can see the shimmer on the lid. So this is basically what the eye looks like. Let me lessen the light a bit. The sun is showing off outside, so you guys can see what that looks like just with 2 eyeshadows. So let's talk about a transition shade. Now, a transition shade is just going to make this entire eye process quicker and easier for you to get through. So what a transition shade would be is a shade that is not as light as your highlight and not as dark as your darker, deeper contour shade. And so for this, I automatically go into my bronzer shade. Do you see how it's not as light as your highlight shade and it's not as dark as your contour shade? There are palettes that will have tons of transition shades, contour shades, but if you want to make your life easy, or if you just want to even maybe do bronzer in your crease and call it a day, you can also do that. I'm just going to take a tissue or a paper towel and get majority of that product off my brush, because I want to show you how to use the same brush for your bronzer and your deeper, darker contour shade. So again, you're going to dip your brush into your bronzer, and here you're going to start in your crease and you're just going to blend this shade. You can start gradually. You can even use your bronzer brush, which for me it's this one, and you can just dust that all over your lid if you are in a hurry and you want to do something quick and easy. Do you see automatically you have a little bit of depth, you put on some mascara and you're good to go. We're going to build this up a little bit to just ease that transition. I just love how soft these Switch Beauty brushes are. They're everything. So you can see how now we have a little bit of a gradient going on, or a little bit of a transition shade before we go in with our deeper shades. I think it's important to show you guys both these techniques so that you can see which applies to you and how effortless it is to actually get an eyeshadow look just from 2 eyeshadows. Again, we're going to go into our eyeshadow, and then we're starting off on the outer corner of the eye. And we're just gonna blend in circular motions. And also blend on the lower lash. And at this point, you can gradually deepen and darken. So you can see how beautifully the deeper shade is just blending in with the transition shade. It's giving it a nice gradient. And if you are a beginner, you'll notice how much easier it is to put on a transition shade and then effortlessly blend this deeper, darker shade over it. And then, of course, we're going to pick up the highlight shade and then glide that across the lid. And then you're going to go back in and make sure there are no harsh lines. Okay, so this is what my eyes look like. Now I will say, please don't be alarmed. My left eye is like a completely different eye compared to my right eye. So you guys may be like, oh my god, it doesn't even look the same. No, they don't, because my eyes are not the same. Love that. I have way more space here. So yeah, this is basically what the eye looks like. You can see it's basically almost the same. I mean, comment down below and let me know if you guys can see a difference between adding a transition shade and not adding a transition shade. So yeah, let me go and finish off this eye and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the finished look. You can see the eyes look a little bit more balanced now that I have some wings and mascara on. But comment down below, let me know if you guys have enjoyed this detailed eye series. I do want to dive back into some basics in terms of makeup, because I have been on this platform for 10 years, so there may be things that I do differently now, but there's also some of my basics that I don't think have gone out of fashion, so to speak. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to slay all day every day with or without makeup, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.